definitely check out our website, threeriversbroadcasting.com. We have some exciting news coming up, hopefully in the next week here, about some new sponsors that have been stepping up. So we will keep you guys posted. Our next guest, do we have Coach on with us? Can you hear us, Coach?
I believe he's there.
I can hear you guys. I can't see anything.
That's the way this is supposed to go.
You're not going to be able, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to see our. Now, I will tell you, I got multiple people commenting, people that don't even know you, about the beauty of your mullet. So that was a big topic today that everybody was saying. Yeah. Even Jordan said she likes your mullet here. So that's good stuff.
Unique.
How'd you make that decision to go that route? Because I don't remember that back in the day.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear us, Coach?
I can hear you.
Okay. I'm having a little bit can you guys hear Coach good?
Yeah, I hear Coach okay.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. I was saying, how did you make this decision to go the route of the mullet here?
Honestly, man, I just like to be different.
I like that.
Yeah, that's big in Western Pennsylvania too. I know you're a Clevelander, but people around here always appreciate a cool hairstyle.
I don't have much going for me on the down the list. I gotta do something to be different.
No, like I said, a lot of people were commenting today on. They said, "Man, that is a beautiful hairstyle." So, for those of you who don't know, I've got to know Coach Harlan over the last few years being a college coach. In my opinion, he does one of the best jobs in all of our area. He's out of the Cleveland area, but he does a lot of great work for players in Pennsylvania and West Virginia and Ohio. And one of the things that he has done well is he started a showcase called the NEO, Northeast Ohio Showcase, that attracts players from all over the tri-state area. And what I always liked about this event was it basically is you show up, the coach usually has different things he has going on every couple of years. You know, he's had skill trainers, they've done a combine. And then the second part of the showcase, you just get broken up into a team of kids you may or may not know, and you guys play ball. And there's no plays, there's no politics. It's just go out and play in front of college coaches and see how you stand out. And I've loved that for as a recruiter. It's been one of the mainstay events that I would always make on my calendar that I wanted to go to. So, Coach, how did you come up with this concept, and where did the whole idea of these showcases come from?
Well, quite honestly, a fella most of us probably know, Jim Daybelt, contacted me many years ago. I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but honestly, if it wasn't for Jim, it definitely wouldn't have started in 2014. I'll tell you that. But I did that first event. We started out our first event. We had 80 kids and I think like 23 or 25 coaches, which by my standards, I mean, that's about half of what I look to get at now. But I go to events all the time that don't have even 10 coaches. So even back then, 23 coaches wasn't bad. And I just kind of grew on it and took what I liked and kind of tried to improve on it. And we've grown. I mean, we've kind of, with the COVID this past year, it's kind of slowed things down a little bit, but I've been up to 160 kids and had as many as 63 college coaches. So, bottom line is I try to get the most talent in there as I can, so the coaches will come, and I try to get as many coaches in there as I can, so the players will come. So, they just kind of go hand in hand.
Well, Coach, I think that is one of the most important parts of putting together a showcase like you do. There are so many people out there, and we talk about it a lot, kind of like the bad actor, good actor kind of thing, but too often you see showcases that don't have, I don't know if you want to say a goal or an end line outside of, profit. And yes, this is, you're running a business and you want to make money at it. However, the fact that you can couple that many coaches in, How do you go about bringing that together? Because it's always easy to get teams. It's a lot harder to get the coaches to commit to those events.
Well, honestly, it comes down to having a great relationship with these coaches. As Andrew can attest, like I don't BS anybody. These coaches, when I talk to them about kids, whether they're in my own AAU program or outside, I tell them everything I know, good, bad, or indifferent. And coaches really appreciate the honesty. Every coach knows that I genuinely want to try to help them improve their program and keep their job. So it to be quite honest with you, when you're getting 50, 55 coaches to come to an event, not every one of them are there because they have kids that they like or want to get. So it's a balance of providing talent for coaches to be there to see, and also, there's a lot of schools that are not even recruiting 22s anymore, and they were still at my event this past weekend. So, they're there to see the future kids, and I guess I could say that maybe some of them are there because we have a good friendship and they want to support my events. So I guess a combination of all that.
Yeah, I thought I had the privilege of being able to be invited by you to come down to the event this past weekend, and I thought the talent in the gym was fantastic. I mean, there's kids that could play at all different levels, and some fantastic Division II, NAI, D3, JUCO coaches all in the building, checking out these kids. And what a lot of people don't realize is, in my 10 years of coaching college basketball, I would go to events like this and I would call up colleagues at Division I, schools, Division II schools, and say, hey, there's a kid that I saw today. You really should take a look at her. And that's how a lot of recruiting starts. So, a lot of the kids will think, well, hey, they don't have any Division I coaches there, but I'm a Division I player. Well, that's just not the truth. A lot of these coaches are going to become Division I coaches, or they're going to become Division I assistants, or they're friends with other coaches that are coaching at different levels. So you never know who's going to be seeing you, and you never know how that's going to help you in your recruitment process. I'm sure you've seen that in your years of doing these events, and then also being an AAU coach.
I mean, I would say the list of coaches that have came to my events to recruit that have moved on to Division I there's probably at least 30 of them. There was several just this year. John Leonzo from Cedarville went to Wright State. Lauren Macer from Notre Dame College went to Purdue Fort Wayne. The list is large. There's also a handful of coaches that worked my events that weren't coaches and then got hired as college coaches. So I try to tell people all the time, it doesn't really matter what division you think you can play at. Even though my events, Division I coaches are not allowed to be at. If you can play at the Division I level, we're gonna be able to get the word out. Whether it's through myself, obviously I have great relationship with a lot of Division I coaches as well, or like you mentioned, kind of coaches that are there that have moved on, or even coaches like yourself who have friends that coach in D1. I mean, if you can play Division I, these events are still great opportunities to kind of build that network for yourself.
Yeah, I remember. I think it might have been one of my first times going to the NEO showcase. It was when you had it at the Canton Memorial Fieldhouse. But I remember seeing Kirsten Bell, who went on to be a phenomenal player at Ohio State, and I think she's at Florida Gulf Coast right now. And was Player of the Year in that conference last year. I mean, she probably can be a WNBA player. But that was one of the first times I got to see her play, and I'm like, this kid is unbelievable. She's one of the best female players I've ever seen in my life.
The first showcase in 2014 had Taylor Mikesell. who most people around my area and probably even Western PA is very familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
She played in Maryland, then Oregon. Now she transferred back to Ohio State. Olympic gold medalist, probably for sure a WNBA kid. But you know, we've definitely had a lot of Division I kids, but you know that's not necessarily my niche. So I don't I don't throw that out there. You know, I've never thrown out a Kirsten Bell's name or a Taylor Mikesell or Allie Poole or Lexi Manos. You know, the name, all those kids that played Division I, like, yeah, they've been at my events, but um, I don't bread my butter my bread with kids that are no brainer D1s. So my challenge now is getting, you know, the kids that should be there that are high D2. You know, there's a lot of challenge in, you know, since I do coach an AAU program, getting, you know, what I would consider rival AAU coaches to get the kids there that should be there. And unfortunately it affects the kids and hurts their recruiting, because I don't care who you are or what AAU program you play in. You're not getting 35 different colleges to see you in one sitting. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, and I've always been, you know, I always kind of laugh at that whole notion. At the end of the day, in the summertime, players need to do what's best for them. You're usually paying money to belong to an AAU organization, so it's really not the coach's call where you go to a showcase or elite camp. You know, obviously you're welcome to go ask the coach's opinion, but you're welcome to, if you want to go play on 5 different AAU teams in 5 years and you're paying for that, feel free. I mean, it's kind of the Wild West in the summertime. I know Alex and I went down to the hoop group this year, and he's very well versed in what's going on in the boys' world of high school hoops. But you know, we were walking around. He goes, "Hey, that kid's getting recruited by Syracuse, but he normally plays on the team down the street, but he's here at hoop group with this team." I mean, it happens all the time. In boys basketball as well. So, you know, my message is always, you know, loyalty is great. But at the end of the day, you know, you have to do what's best for you when it comes to recruitment. And like you're talking about, you have to get in front of college coaches. And if anybody's telling you not to do that, they don't have your best interest.
I mean, I would say the majority of people don't have kids' best interests, but maybe I'm skeptical. I don't know.
No, I think that's something that we've echoed for the entire time we've done this, and the entire kind of 2 years that Andy and I have known each other. We've talked about the AAU circle quite a bit in the camp circles, and saying that, you know, I don't want to say that all of them, but there's plenty of them out there that aren't in it for anything other than, you know, a quick buck. And you know, even with Jordan here, she's a college basketball player, Point Park, and she played AAU basketball. And you know, I think we've all come across these type of bad actors at some point in our tenure. But this kind of, for me, wraps up what I said to you earlier, that you know, I think it's amazing that you can get that many coaches across, and not just, you know, D1 coaches, D2 coaches. You have them from across all these different levels to come in, and I agree also with Andy that if there's an AAU coach out there saying don't go to that event, they're crazy. For lack of a better term. I mean, what's your ulterior motive to stop someone in that situation? So, again, I think what you're doing is an unbelievable service.
Well, some of the biggest culprits are dudes that would love to do what I'm doing, and you know, it's honestly, it's just sad. You know, I've had some people that worked with me in the past that didn't want to be part of something bigger and better. They wanted to be, you know, in the spotlight and be the one in charge. And you know, it kind of, people that have been very, very supportive in the past got a taste of how fun this is, and how, you know, it's really honestly exciting, and you build a lot of great relationships, and they kind of want to be the one getting all the credit. And I don't care who gets the credit, but you know, they decided they want to try to compete against me or do what I'm doing, and all of a sudden now they kind of block off a whole area of kids that would be benefiting in playing in this event and no longer can. Whether they say they can or not is irrelevant. If you're not actively encouraging your kids to go there, they're gonna feel like they'll feel guilty about going to somebody's event that's a competitor to their own AAU coach. And hopefully I don't do that with my own kids. I mean, I encourage them to go everywhere and do whatever they want. I don't own them. I want my kids to be seen. So, we had several kids at an event earlier in the month of a guy that used to be a good friend of mine and is now trying to compete against me. So, there's a lot of people who say they have the best interest in the kids at heart, and their actions show otherwise.
Yeah, I think it's I always try to take, I don't know, more of a positive perspective on a lot of this stuff, but a lot of people I think are surprised at how much there's a lot of scandalous things that happen in the recruitment world, for a variety of reasons. People that want to make money off of this stuff, or like you're talking about, get the praise out of it, and a lot of it dilutes the best product. So instead of a kid having maybe 3 or 4 or 5 good trainers, or 3 or 4 or 5 good travel teams in a given area, there's 25 or 35, and those that are really good at it and spend a lot of time at it don't always have the best opportunities to work with players, because they're just pulled in so many different directions. And I know Jordan and we've talked about that during her journey to becoming a collegiate player. It's as a kid, you just kind of you don't really have the maturity, and you don't really have the knowledge to know who are the good players until you get to, and I don't mean players, I mean people that you're working with, until you get to the college level, and you can kind of look back and say, hey, maybe I shouldn't have done this, or maybe I shouldn't have played with them, or all this type of stuff. So a lot of this falls on the parents, and parents also don't have all that knowledge and information, unless they were a college player themselves or a coach themselves. So it's so important that people do the research and look into track record, and how successful events like the NEO and also your AAU team. You guys have had tremendous success, winning a couple national championships over the last couple years. That track record speaks for itself.
I mean, I got nothing to do with that success, man. These kids work hard, and I just try to push them, and I'm glad we got enough kids that tolerate me.
So, Coach, what do you have going on the rest of the summer? Will there be any more events? And we get a lot of people here that listen to us, obviously in Pittsburgh, and a couple in Ohio, West Virginia. Geez, we even have people up in Minnesota listening to us.
Yeah, we do.
But any events coming up for kids, and how can they get involved in that?
Well, I guess it depends on what you consider summer. The rest of this month, no. The next event is the Fall Showcase, which is September 12th at Ashland. Last time we went to Ashland, we had 160 kids and I believe 57 coaches. That would have been the spring event in 2019. I'm not taking that many kids again. I try to cap it at 120 now, just to. Again, my events are not, sorry, they're not open to the public. Technically, I mean, I don't turn a whole lot of kids away, but I don't put the registration just out there for public consumption, so it kind of buys me time to make sure that the kids that should be there can get there. And it definitely makes it easier to get higher level talent when you just can't click on my website and register on your own.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that my events are the only ones that are that way. Everyone else is worried about selling out as fast as possible and just maximizing the kids. And quite frankly, I don't care if I sell out. I'm more worried about getting real talent in the gym to make sure that these coaches have a great experience. So, but yeah, that's the next event. It's the last one of the year. The fall showcase. We used to do the combine in the fall as well, but with COVID last year, we definitely couldn't do that. That was the only event I got in all year last year, and I'm going to move the combine event to the spring, where kids can get in early, and by the fall, a lot of these kids are committed. A lot of the top end talent is committed, and coaches are kind of moving on to the next class or two. Not entirely, but for the most part, how it goes. The
yeah,
top
everybody's looking
first.
a year or two and ahead, and just trying to get ahead of everybody else. So yeah, I mean that's why I always tell kids it's it is too early in some cases. You don't need to be worried about this when you're 6th, 7th, 8th grade, but once you hit high school, you really need to start looking at your options and going to events like yourself to get on people's radars so they know who you are.
Absolutely. And I mean, there's a timetable to all of it, and most kids have no idea because, or parents, because all they see is social media. And if there's anything people need to know about social media is that it does not represent reality, in probably any realm of society.
Yep, I agree with that.
Agreed.
Yep.
So, I got kids that are not even in high school yet playing this past Saturday. I think we only had 4 or 5 because the coaches just aren't there to see those kids quite yet. And then the coaches get up and leave before the second game of the young kids, and there's nobody to sit there and watch them anymore. But they think that it's because they're not good enough or whatnot. But in reality, it's just because, those D2, D3 NAIA coaches are not looking at 2025s yet.
No, I started looking at kids usually their high school season of their junior year, and then going into their senior year and at the NAIA level. So, yeah, I fully agree with what you're talking about.
That's just one aspect of why we do get a lot of coaches there. Is I do my best to make sure that there's the max amount of recruitable kids there. So, my events are definitely unique in the fact that I don't take kids that are committed. I don't take kids that are just there to have fun and are going to be playing college volleyball. I limit the amount of younger kids that are there. And I'm sure I could probably double the amount of kids I have there if I really wanted to, if I, started in the 6th or 7th grade. But that's just not what's going to get the coaches there. And I don't really do this for money. So
no, I feel you, man. Well, I will tell anybody that is interested in the events, if you have a girls' high school basketball player, you can check out Rich's website, HOF, which stands for Hall of Fame, Huddle.com. That's HOF, Huddle.com. Coach, I appreciate you coming on. We might have to get you back here closer to the fall showcase and bust your chops a little bit about the Cleveland Browns, too.
I'm pretty sure the only chops that are going to be getting busted are the black and
Well, once again, Coach, thanks for coming on. That was Coach Rich Harlan from Hall of Fame Huddle. It was brought to you by the Guard Market. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be back on the Three Rivers Broadcasting Pittsburgh Sports Report.